today we're going to be talking about choking and how to make food more presentable and more safe for your baby. Here we have tomatoes, so anything that's falling into this category, you're really wanting to be cutting smaller, not just in half, move into your quarter shapes. This way it's not the size of the esophagus, and if it does go down whole, it's easy for the baby to be moving through. Grapes are going to be one of the most high-risk choking foods that babies can have. So again, look at cutting it into quarters, and even if they're really small grapes, so the ones that would be half the size of this, make sure that you're always cutting it into quarters. Again, moves easily down that esophagus. Fresh bread is going to be a choking hazard. These two might look the same, but they're slightly different. This is going to be bread which has not been toasted. So you can see when I squish it together, it really makes a ball. That's what makes it a choking hazard. Okay, what we want to do is we want to lightly toast bread for babies. We don't want to be making it normal toast where it's super crunchy, because that's not going to be easy for them to be eating. But if we can lightly crunch it so that it's got a little bit of bite to it, it's not going to be able to be making itself into that same ball shape. Apples is the most high-risk choking food, especially when we're looking at raw apples. So always make sure that you are cutting it, you're peeling your apple. Babies should never be eating an apple with a peel on. They should only actually get to this point when they are at about 18 months of age. This is a raw apple. If you're going to be giving your baby raw apple, this would be suitable for around about a 9 to 10 month old. You'll see I've removed the skin over here, but I've cut it really, really thin. Even if you're using a vegetable slicer, you can get that thinness. Another way to be offering it, if you're doing it in the whole food format, is quite simply just bake these. Put on a little bit of cinnamon, and then it's really nice and tasty for our kids to be eating. What you're trying to avoid is anything that snaps. Okay, we don't want that. That's what makes it a high risk. Another way to be offering apple is this. I've simply grated, or you can be making a puree. Really easy on the tiny spoon, and you can be offering it to your baby either by feeding it to them or just be putting it on the side of the plate like that and allowing them to be grabbing that spoon themselves. Another food that can be concerning is going to be your protein foods. Here I have some lamb. If you look at this piece of lamb, it's really got nothing on it. It's really dry, even though it has been slow cooked. So this is going to be a choking risk. What I've done in this section is I've cut them a little bit smaller. You're wanting something to be the size of your pinky. So if you look at that, this slice is just smaller than my pinky, but you're wanting it to be the length of your pinky and the width of your pinky about. Then be adding some moisture. So always with your meat products, put on some of the sauce that you've cooked it in, put on some bone broth, put on something that's going to be keeping it moist. And essentially what you're wanting is you're wanting it to be able to be falling apart in your hands so that you're able to pull it apart. That's what you're going for to avoid that choking risk. Here we have some sweet potatoes. This is really just to demonstrate to you what is the perfect size for your baby. So what we're looking at is something that is going to be the length of your pinky and around about the width of your pinky. It's something that baby can hold on to and grasp easily. And then when you're looking at how cooked should things be to decrease that risk of choking, so you're wanting it to be passing what we term the mush test. The mush test is that anything within your hands that you can turn into a mash between your thumb and your index finger. So you can see over here, it's really turning into that mush. So this is what's making this food safe. So blueberries are a really good food to be teaching your children about their pincer graft. You can see how they would be picking it up between their thumb and their forefingers. But blueberries that are this size are way too big and can be a choking risk. Either you're cutting them into quarters to be making it safe for your baby, or another way is be using these sensory bumps that are on the tiny spoon. Just squash the blueberry against those sensory bumps, and now it's a safe option for your child to be eating. Remember that gagging is normal for our babies. It's something that we're expecting them to do anywhere up to the age of 24 months. But if you want to find out more, check out our other video, which is really focusing on choking versus gagging.